What is good, yo? It's your boy Ty back here with another video, and in this video today we are going to be ranking about 41 of the best power forwards in NBA 2K22 MyTEAM. I said about 41. I think it's exactly 41. I'm not gonna count them all, but I think that is the number that we are at here. So you guys can see basically all the pink diamonds, most of the amethyst and rubies, as well as a couple of sapphires. So basically the top power forwards in NBA 2K22 MyTEAM. Not only am I going to be ranking them, I'm going to be going over each and every one of the cards and kind of giving my opinion on them. Now before we dive into that, if you are new to my channel and have not yet, please consider smashing that subscribe button as we're on the road to 80,000 subscribers. We're going to start off with Amar'e Stoudemire here, the domination reward. Now, this card is literally the Amar'e Stoudemire that we saw last year for like the Halloween set. And quite honestly, this Amar'e is just not very good. 76 3 ball, pretty mid shooting badges, 78 speed, 60 lateral quickness, can't handle the ball. Like, I'm sorry guys, but this Amar'e Stoudemire card is not very good. I'm gonna put him at B tier just because he has decent enough speed, decent interior wise. He might go down to C tier. Like, this Amar'e Stoudemire is definitely a letdown, one of the bigger letdowns that honestly I think we've seen all year long. If you're a massive Amar'e Stoudemire card, or if you finish domination and you don't really have that many good cards, good options, he's fine. But is Amar'e Stoudemire better than Serge Ibaka? My answer to that question is no. And because of that, I'm not any higher on Amar'e than B tier. Next up, Anton Jamison. And Anton, I think, does more than Amar'e. Now, A tier might be gassing him, but I think he's solid, right? You look at a card with an 86 3 ball. Brooke Lopez base isn't bad. Decent enough driving dunk. Play-wise, not great, but decent enough. 76 speed, 76 lateral quickness. Again, I think a guy you can play at that power forward position, and he's going to knock down shot speed decent enough on the defensive end, especially if you badge him up. I think he's a step above Amar'e Stoudemire. I don't know if he's that much above him. Amar'e might go down. Anton might go to a B tier, but we'll see. We're going to leave it right here for now because I don't think the power forward list is that deep. If you look up and down, it's not that many great players in the power forward, at the power forward position. One of those great players is Anthony Davis. Still my favorite center in NBA 2K22 MyTEAM right now. Don't expect AD to be good, 2 months from now, but right now, late October is at the time that I'm recording this video. Anthony Davis is incredible. 6'10", 7'2" wingspan. Here's the thing, can shoot it, 79 speed, 78 lateral quickness. You upgrade his vertical, whether it's a shoe. That's kind of what I did. I upgraded his vertical with the shoe. I upgraded his rebounding stats. Once I put a shoe, rebounding and vertical shoe on him, it's helped him out a ton. You give him quick first step. You give him, maybe some of the ankle braces, ball stripper badges. This card's fantastic. Disney is absolutely incredible. The best all-around center in the game. And quite honestly, I don't even think it's close. The only guy that kind of you can make the comparison to is Chris Webber. But quite honestly, the more I use AD, the more I think AD is that top guy to run at center in the game. He is a primary power forward. That is why he's on this list. Next up, Blake Griffin. And I'm just going to do something for you guys to see. Compare Blake Griffin to Amar'e Stoudemire, right? Compare the cards and tell me that Blake Griffin isn't close to being better than Amar'e. Blake's got a better release. That's the first thing I want to throw out there. Defensively, yes, Amar'e Stoudemire is better. But here's the thing. Dunking-wise, Blake's better at. Ball handling-wise, Blake's better at. Vertical-wise, I mean, obviously Amar'e's 95 vertical is nice. But Blake does have the plus 12 strength coming back at it. Badge-wise, Blake's better. So I think if you are going to put Amar'e Stoudemire at that B tier, Blake's there as well. Now, Blake defensively is going to not be nearly as good as Amar'e Stoudemire, but badge-wise, I don't even think it's close. Blake Griffin is B tier. If you want to move them down to C tier, I think you can, but we've got a lot of rough guys coming up here. Like, this power forward list is overall not very strong. Bob Pettit, the next guy we're going to talk about today, is a guy that I could get because I finished domination. But it's just like, do I want Bob Pettit? No, this card can't play for me. With that being said, though, I'm going to be one of the best shooters in all of 2K. Combine that with a decent enough rebounder, goal with rebound chaser. Like, this card's fine. Set shot 14 on next gen is a very smooth and easy to time release. Has some good shooting badges. Pick and pop game, Bob Pettit's fantastic. It's about all he's going to do. He's going to shoot the ball absolutely incredibly for you if you have finished domination and love Bob Pettit. That's fine. He can play for you is he worth, finishing domination for doing whatever it takes? No, he's just not worth that extra grind. Bojan Bogdanovic, I mean, here's the thing. He's fine. He's not an F tier player because he's fine. But the problem is 69 speed hurts him. If he had better speed, I would put him higher. But that low of speed, I don't care if you have a good 3-ball, good release, everything about you. He can't handle the ball. His speed's super low. He's a D tier player. Definitely not the worst player on this list, though. Chris Bosh, we're going to go A tier with Chris Bosh here. Look, I lost to Chris Bosh on current gen in the first quals. So, obviously, Chris Bosh does something good for you. I think he's just a better version of Bob Pettit, right? I think that's the best way that I can describe what Chris Bosh does. Just a little bit better version of Bob Pettit, a little bit taller, can compete a little bit better on the interior, right? Can rebound the ball at least decently, can get any defensive badge. Obviously, shooting-wise, can get every shooting badge as well. Chris Bosh is underrated. Set shot 7, his release, at least on current gen, isn't bad. He's kind of flown under the radar for a lot of people, including myself. But if you do fully badge up Chris Bosh, you're looking at a top big man in the game still to this day. Chris Webber, we're starting off with a lot of these good cards, is another S tier player. Now, if you want to say Chris Webber is better than Anthony Davis, I can't really argue with that. Now, what I will say is I definitely like Anthony Davis's release a little bit more. Chris Webber does have the Hall of Fame rebound chaser, which is a big, big badge. He can get every defensive badge. Can't get quick first step, though, which AD can get. I mean, if you like Anthony Davis better, that's fine. If you like Chris Webber, that's fine. But what's not fine is if you think one of them, or if you don't think one of them is like a top 3 center in the game. That's what's not fine with me. Both these cards are fantastic. I think the majority of you guys are going to probably have more success with Chris Webber. It's just for me, I've used Anthony Davis so much, it's hard for me to get away from the fact that I love Anthony Davis so much. So we're going to just fill in some of these lower tiers, okay? We're going to start it off with let's just start it off with an F tier player, okay? I'm just going to look at these players, and let's just throw, I kind of want to throw Juwan Howard in there, but let's just throw a guy like, I'm going to throw Bjelica in F tier. Like, if you look at Bjelica, I don't know if he's actually F tier, though. That's the problem. He has an 89 3-ball, but that's all he can do for you. I mean, but the problem with F tiers, he still does that at a high rate. Jump shot 70 is a decent number. I'm sorry, Bjelica is not F tier. I wanted to fill in some of these lower tiers. He's still down here, pretty similar to Bojan. But if Bojan's not F tier, neither is Bjelica. Bjelica is better than Bojan. I mean, honestly, Bjelica might be C tier. He's not terrible. Donyell Marshall. Is this our first F tier player? I'm thinking so. 88 3-ball. Similar to Bjelica, but Donyell Marshall's just not quite as good. Donyell Marshall's release isn't very good. He's just, he's not as good as Bjelica is. I'm going to put Donyell Marshall in F tier. He can shoot the ball decently, right? 88 3-ball, like in offline mode, you might have success with him. But outside of that, I mean, the card just stinks. I want to put this card in F tier, but I know a lot of you guys might hate me for it. This Dirk Nowitzki card is dirt. He's an F tier card. I do not care. This card is terrible. Has a terrible release. Has 55 speed. Diamond Dirk Nowitzki is F tier. He is. He is an absolutely abysmal player. So now that we got a couple of F tier players, a couple of D tier players, now we can go back to our tier list. But I couldn't, it was so unbalanced, it was so top heavy that I couldn't deal with it. Danny Manning up next. And honestly, I don't know if I've ever played against Danny Manning, and I don't know if I've ever, I don't know if I've played with it. 73 ball, 78 speed, 70 lateral quickness. What does this card do on the court for you? Amari's release? Like, I can't answer that question. What does Danny Manning do on the court for you? Doesn't shoot the ball well. Not good defensively. I'm sorry, Danny Manning. I didn't know you were this bad. Danny Manning as a collector reward is terrible. He's an F tier player. What is he doing on the court for you? He can't even hardly shoot. 73 ball, a terrible release. This card stinks. Like, compare this card to this guy right here. Compare the cards. I mean, they are both terrible cards. It's just the way it is. Juwan Howard, I've been playing with him recently, and I could never recommend Juwan Howard to anybody either. So wherever Danny Manning is, that's where Juwan Howard is. We might have a lot of F tier cards, but these are just cards that I just think are absolutely terrible. And I can't even find him, but we'll get to him. You guys are probably seeing him right now, but we'll get to, there's Juwan Howard. He's F tier too. I'm sorry. The Amari release is not good. You combine that with their stats. I mean, they're just not good. Danny Manning might get up to D tier, but I can't with him. Dennis Rodman, a card I am not the biggest fan of up next. And Dennis Rodman is not bad. I just want to throw that out there for anybody watching this video, that even if you know I am not a big Dennis Rodman fan, he is not bad. If you know how to use Dennis Rodman, you can have success with the card. With that being said, hot spots from everywhere. Good speed, good lateral quickness, 89 3-ball. Like, his stats compared to the guys that we have looked at with like Juwan Howard and Danny Manning, it's not even close. This card is actually solid. This card can actually compete. The problem is I don't love his release. My problem is he's only 6'7". If you play him at the 4, it's kind of hard with that release. Again, if you play him at the 5, he's only 6'7". I just have a hard time. See, I had a hard time ever playing Dennis Rodman. People played him against me and had some success with him. It's just, I just am not the biggest fan of him. He's still an A tier card. I don't think anybody's going to doubt that. I'm just not the biggest fan of him. Derrick Jones Jr. up next. Is this our first C tier player in Derrick Jones Jr.? I'm thinking it might be. Let's just look at the card. Obviously, triple threat offline. Evo, 79 3-ball, 77 speed, 80 lateral quickness. You compare his stats, again, to the guys like Juwan Howard, the guys like Boyan. He's better than those guys. Combine that with a decent release, jump shot 5, a very good release. He is at least a C tier player. The problem is no shooting badges. I know that hurts his value. No quick first step. Defensively, again, leaves a little bit to be desired. But just looking at his stats, I think at minimum he's a C tier player. Those stats with jump shot 5, that's solid enough in my opinion. The power forward position is very weak. Draymond Green is on the verge of being an A tier card. A lot better on current gen than next gen. But hear me out. 83 ball, 78 speed, 75 lateral quickness, good rebounder, good strength, good interior, can handle the ball, dimer, can get quick first step, defensively can be solid, can get limitless, hot zone hunter. I'm sorry, guys. Draymond Green, in my opinion, is A tier. I just think he is, especially if you're on current gen. I think he's better than everybody at that B tier because of how good he is on defense. Definitely, I would play him at power forward, not center. Last year, the Draymond diamond early on in the game was a cheese ball at center. I'd recommend playing Draymond at the power forward position, but I think if you do that, you can have a lot of success with the card. Again, I want to kind of tell you guys the power forward position is weak. It just is overall a very weak position. But Draymond Green is solid. Next, we got Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I would be lying to say that I did not play a guy in triple threat the other day that greened a 3 with Giannis. So Giannis that can has the capability of greening 3s. I know he doesn't have any shooting badges. Playmaker wise, he's pretty rough, but defensively, with his player build at the power forward position, he's not that bad. Like, this Giannis Antetokounmpo is not that bad. He's not good. He's not complete. But hear me out. If I was to play him on my team, he'd have Monty Williams, who'd give him a 71 3-ball, 77 speed. Interior would get boosted. I'm throwing this out there. Giannis Antetokounmpo is not terrible. I think B tier is where I'm going to put him. But with Giannis's player build, with the decent speed coach, I don't think he's that bad in the game. Maybe I'm gassing it because his 3-ball is pretty low. But I saw somebody green 1 out of 2 threes with Giannis, and that's all I needed to see for me. Tell me why I played qualifiers 2 weeks ago, and Jabari Parker was running around at point guard against me. I don't know if that's still a glitch in the game, but let's just take into consideration him at the power forward center position. Defensively, gonna be terrible. It's just the way it is. But still gonna be able to shoot the ball. Jump shot 55 on next gen's not that bad. I don't think he's terrible. Jabari Parker's not good by any means, but I don't think he's terrible. I think he's a C tier player and just kind of an okay player in the game. Not Anton Jameson level. Not that next level good, but he's okay overall. Jay Crowder, again, is an okay card. Jay Crowder, in my opinion, let's just do this. Let's compare Jay Crowder to Jabari Parker, right? Both rubies, but Jay Crowder, in my opinion, definitely is quite a bit better, right? I was thinking that going into it, but I was like, I need to compare this first. Look at the defense. That's really where I think we need to look for Jay Crowder when we compare him to Jabari Parker. Obviously, Jabari Parker's inside scoring is better. But outside of his inside scoring, Jay Crowder is going to do everything outside of rebound the ball better than Jabari Parker. Jay Crowder is on the verge, honestly, of being A tier. He's my best player at B tier. I'm that high on Jay Crowder, especially if you play him at small forward position. He can do no wrong. He's a 3-and-D guy. His release isn't the best, but definitely can hold it down for you. power forward position is just a weak position overall. Like, I'm sorry, it's just a weak position if I have Jay Crowder at the top of my B tier. James Worthy, is he C or B? I don't love his release, but he does some other things for you, right? Decent speed, lateral quickness, defensively does some decent enough things. Can't really handle the ball, 75, 3 ball. I think C tier is where he belongs. Again, pretty similar to Jabari Parker, and just like they're just overall balanced power forwards. They're going to be okay for you. I don't think either of those cards are cards that I'm necessarily the highest on, but at C tier, James Worthy is usable. He definitely is usable, but the problem is compared to Blake Griffin, I don't think he's quite to that level. Jeff Green, on the other hand, is. Jeff Green, he was available super early on, and this card's fantastic. 81 3-ball, 80 driving dunk, 85 speed, 84 lateral quickness, can handle the ball. The problem with Jeff Green is he can't really get that many of his badges upgraded. No quick first step, no clamps, no limitless spot up. I mean, the card's not perfect by any means. But if you do have collector reward Jeff Green with jump shot 50 on quick, he's going to do some things for you. I think B tier is a pretty good spot for him. Quite honestly, I think him and Jay Crowder are going to do pretty similar things to you. Obviously, Crowder is going to be better badge-wise. Jeff Green statistically is better. Both those cards are pretty solid. I'm pretty high on Jeff Green. Jermaine O'Neal is a card I've looked at before, but I don't know if many people have ran him against me. The Jermaine O'Neal is an inside big, and quite honestly, he's not bad. You're gonna have to obviously run him at center, but he's not bad. If you get him out of a promo pack and are new to the game, Jermaine O'Neal is okay. Problem is he just can't shoot it all. Pretty low vertical, but he's gonna be just fine. I feel like if you do get him out of the promo set, he's gonna be just fine. I'm gonna put him at B tier, and here's why. As an inside center, it's hard for me to sit here and say that if somebody just picks up the game, they can't have any success with Jermaine O'Neal. Jermaine O'Neal might be a top 15 center in the game. I know that's saying with a lot of players, but he really might. He might be a top 15, 20 center in the game. Definitely better than the Diamond Dirk Nowitzki. I think Jermaine O'Neal is solid, especially with his speed, lateral quickness. I think he is solid enough. Jerry Lucas, plug him into B tier. The card is going to do one thing for you on the court, and that's shoot the ball. This card and this card are literally so similar. Basically identical cards. Yes, Jerry Lucas is going to defend on the perimeter and interior maybe a little bit better, but you look at it, Bob Pettit can handle the ball a little bit better. I mean, these cards are so similar. Whether you like Jerry Lucas or Bob Pettit better, I don't really have a preference. They're going to basically do the same thing for you. Jerry Lucas is one of those cards that if you get his upper down, release 11 upper is just weird, but if you get it down, he's going to be pretty smooth shooting wise. Defensively, he's not as bad as advertised. Only problem is he's 6'8". That's the real only problem I see with Jerry Lucas. But he's a B tier player. Josh Smith up next. He's the best player at A tier. He's not quite to the level of Anthony Davis or Chris Webber, but this card's fantastic. 74 3-ball, 90 driving dunk, 84 speed, 86 lateral quickness, good rebounder with an incredible vertical. Whether you do play Josh Smith, whether you do play him at that power forward or center position, the card's fantastic. Can get quick first step. Obviously, Hall of Fame Pogo helps against those inside bigs. He's a guy that can compete against those inside bigs. If you're looking for a kind of undersized, fast big that can compete against those inside centers, I think Josh Smith is it. Combine that with his ability to knock down that occasional 3-ball. My best player at A tier. I like him over Dennis Rodman. Some people might like Dennis Rodman more. I do give the edge slightly to Josh Smith. Julius Randle is another card that we got pretty recently that I'm just not quite sold on, right? 79 speed, 76 lateral quickness, can shoot the ball decently, handle it decently. But here's the problem, okay? And I think it's a decent enough problem. You look at the card, he's just not complete in any defensive area. Can't really defend on the perimeter. Can't really defend on the interior. 40 steal, 40 block. I still think he's B tier because we got guys like Jerry Lucas and Bob Pettit at B tier. I think Julius Randle's got to be there. But he's not a card I'd recommend for you guys picking up. The only reason Jerry Lucas and Bob Pettit are so high is because they were reward cards. For me and Julius Randle, there's so many better cards for their value than him. I'll still put him at that B tier. Kevin Durant diamond card up next. Honestly, I have not seen or looked at Kevin Durant's stats once. The Sapphire KD was fine. Move on to the Diamond. 83 ball, 77 speed, 82 lateral quickness, 82 driving dunk, 83 ball. This card's not even that bad. Shooting wise, pretty solid. KD's base is fine. This card is really not that bad. I mean, no quick first step, defensively going to be a pretty big liability. But I will say it, I don't think KD's bad. I can't wait for KD to get that release on quick. But I really don't mind Kevin Durant. I'm moving Amari Stoudemire down. I just have to. With where this list is at, I have to move Amari Stoudemire down. I can't. He can shoot the ball. I can't move Amari Stoudemire down with Jerry Lucas and Bob Pettit in B tier. I just can't. B tier is pretty wide right now, but I don't know who I'd move down or up. I can't move anybody else down. That's what I was trying to do, but then I thought better of it. Kevin Garnett, the best player in the game when he'll come out. I don't care. A lot of people are going to be like, Tyler, you're wrong. He's not that good. Ty, you're wrong. He's not that good. 6'11", 7'2" wingspan, hot spots from both corners, 86 3 ball, 90 driving dunk. You upgrade the ball handle. That's one thing that I'm a little bit concerned about. 87 speed, 84 lateral quickness, 95 rebounding stats with Hall of Fame interceptor, intimidator, post, lockdown, and rim. Silver, clamps, pickpocket. You upgrade the ball stripper. You give him quick first step. You give him limitless range, which he can get sniper. Like, this card is going to be just fine. A lot of people aren't necessarily the biggest KG supporters right now. I'm not one of them. Jump shot 58 is actually a release. I probably prefer to set shot for 14. It's going to be a little slower, but it's going to be super easy to time, easy to green. I'm going for Kevin Garnett, and I have no holdbacks about it. Lamar Odom, look, he has base 11. I'm not moving Lamar Odom up, and nobody's going to make me. I do not care what these... Okay, here's the thing. He is overall fine. Base 11 just stinks, though. Like, the LaMarcus Aldridge base just stinks. I'm sorry. If I have Juwan Howard in F tier because of it, Lamar Odom's going into C tier. Like, I think Lamar Odom is quite a bit better than Juwan Howard. I don't think anybody is going to necessarily debate that. But they still have the same release. And because of that, Lamar Odom's going into C tier. I just can't stand that release. Lamar Odom, objectively, statistically wise, is not that bad. But with that release, I'd rather run James Worthy, to be honest with you. Larry Bird up next. A lot of you guys are like, Ty, Larry Bird's easily S tier. I don't think so. I'm throwing him right into A tier. Because kind of what I would say is this. You guys can say Ty is one of the best shooters in the game, and you're exactly right. But here's kind of what I'm going to combat you and say. Is Larry Bird that much better at the power forward position than this guy, Josh Smith? You're going to be like, Ty, it's not even close. How? How is it not close? When Larry Bird post move wise is already plus 31 when I don't care about the post moves. Look at the defense, right? You look at the steal and block rating. You look at the speed. You look at the vertical. I think it's closer than people advertise. I don't think it all comes down to the passing stats or the shot close. Look at the rebounding. Look at the speed. Look at the lateral quickness. I don't know who I prefer at the 4 right now. Larry Bird or Josh Smith. That's why Larry Bird. He's at the top of A tier here with Josh Smith, but I can't put him in S tier. Lauri Markkanen up next, and Lauri's not that bad, but what I would say is this. I can't even type his name in, but what I would say is this with Lauri. You got to know what you're getting yourself into. Set shot 18, pretty bad lateral quickness. He's going to be able to shoot the ball, and that is literally it on the court. Is he worse than Dirk? That's the question I have to ask myself. I like Lauri's release more than Dirk's. Is he worse than Dirk? I think they're pretty similar. And I think they're pretty similar. But what I would say is the plus 11 speed and the plus 15 lateral quickness is enough for me to put him ahead of Dirk. Lauri Markkanen is better than Dirk Nowitzki in 2K22 MyTEAM. Lauri's going D tier for me. LeBron James up next. Man, the Lakers are struggling right now. LeBron obviously has been hurt. See it, 69 3 ball, 78 speed, decent lateral quickness. Defensively, he's still going to be pretty solid. Problem is, can't handle the ball, can't really shoot the ball too well. Bad release on decent release. I'm gonna go C tier with Bron just because what he can give you on the defensive end of the court. I don't think he's as good as Kevin Durant or Giannis's Series 1 cards. Michael Porter Jr. Is he C tier? I think so. I'm not the biggest MPJ fan, but for a day 1 card, I still think you gotta respect him. 85 3 ball, 80 speed. Even if that's all he gives you, that's enough, I think, to keep him off that bottom tier at 6'10". Gonna have a decent enough release. You should be able to shoot lights out with MPJ. I think he is very solid in the game. Miles Bridges up next. Oh, an A tier with Miles Bridges. Miles Bridges has been hooping lately in the NBA. He has been absolutely hooping. He is easily A tier for me. There's nothing this guy can't do. You fully badge up Miles Bridges. If you fully badge him up, he is a problem. Can get limitless, can get handles for days, can get clamps. You fully badge this card up. You add this, I'm just saying this because it's the coach I would have. Ooh, baby, you're looking at a very tough guy to defend in 2K. You just are. If you give him those things, Miles Bridges might be better than Larry Bird. And I'm just throwing that out there for you guys because you guys might not agree with me, but I'm saying it for the people in the back. Miles Bridges might be better than Larry Bird. That's how high I am on Miles Bridges. Just his stats, and if you do fully badge him up. Spicy P is an A tier player. I'd rather run him at power forward than anybody else at B tier. And you guys are going to hate me for this, for putting Pascal Siakam at A tier. You guys are going to hate me. But what I'd encourage you guys to do is go look who my power forward is on my no money spend account. And then get back to me. 76 3-ball, 80 driving dunk, 76 speed, 78 lateral quickness. Can compete on the interior. Good defensive badges as his base card has. He doesn't need anything else. Release-wise, I can green with the card. That's all that matters. 6'9". I don't care. The worst player at A tier? Absolutely. But I'll take him over everybody at B tier. Pascal Siakam, to me, is A tier. Paul Silas, easy S tier addition. This dude is literally a fake card. But if you do get your hands on Paul Silas, you're looking at one of the best defensive players in all of 2K. Seeing a LeBron James, a little shorter, but man, his defensive badges are fantastic. Combine that with quick first step. The dude shooting-wise can get any badge in the game. Yeah, he can get limitless with the 77 3-ball. You fully badge up him, you're looking at a card that's going to play in qualifiers. This card will be relevant a month from now. Still be a top small forward, power forward in 2K. Rick Barry, is he F tier? Like, is this Rick Barry card F tier? He really might be. Look at the guard, 79 3-ball, 80 speed, 76 lateral quickness. Okay, he's not F tier. Rick Barry's actually not that bad. Jump shot 18, I'll put him in D tier. You got that jump shot, I'm sorry, Rick Barry, and you don't do that much else on the court. I can't go any higher with the card. Doesn't come with quick first step clamps. I mean, he's just fine. If you're running Rick Barry, please sell him. Do not run that card. He is literally a scrub. Hachimura, honestly, for a free card when he came out, I was excited about. Obviously, that was a while ago. But still, Hachimura is not terrible. He does have, I think, the Carmelo Anthony jump shot 55 base. If you're on next gen, isn't that terrible? And I'm just going to compare him to Jabari Parker because I think it's relevant, right? I think it's pretty relevant to compare the cards. I think Jabari Parker is that little bit better, but I don't think it's enough to really separate their tiers, right? I think Rui is a worse version of Jabari Parker, but I don't think it's worse enough to separate the tiers. Serge Ibaka is an A tier player in 2K, and it's crazy to think that Serge Ibaka was available day one in the Amethyst token market with how good he is. I haven't even badged up my Serge Ibaka. If you give him Sniper, you upgrade some of his badges, you fully badge out the defense, you're still looking at probably a top 10 center in my team. I'm just throwing that out there. Serge Ibaka is that good. He is the man with the plan. If you just started the game and you need a center and you're just working your way up the token boards, please tell me you locked in for Serge Ibaka. He still honestly might be a top 3 token player in the market in general. That's including the diamond and pink diamonds as well. Tim Duncan up next. And honestly, Tim Duncan had his use for a little while. When people were mashing with Wilt, Tim Duncan was useful because he had half post, lockdown, and rim and could compete on the interior. But at this stage, nobody's running Tim Duncan. Like, at this stage, Tim Duncan is really useless. I'm going to put him at C tier because I still think he has some sort of value. But if you're asking me who I'd rather run, Jerry Lucas, Bob Pettit, or Tim Duncan, I'd rather run Jerry Lucas or Bob Pettit. Just the ability to shoot the ball means so much. And honestly, if Jermaine O'Neal, though, is at it, listen, is Jermaine O'Neal better than Tim Duncan? That's what we really need to monitor. I think it's close. I really think it's close. Jermaine O'Neal a little faster, a little taller. I just think it's close. I do think Tim Duncan might be that good. I'll move Tim Duncan up. He's a B tier player. I might have been slandering him a little bit because he's an inside big and I don't love inside bigs. But I think I gave the edge to Jermaine O'Neal just because he's a free card. Tom Chambers, I'm going to put at A tier. And the reason I'm putting Tom Chambers at A tier is because I've used him and he's fine. He's not as good as Serge Ibaka, but he's decent enough speed, decent enough lateral quickness with a 52. It's not great, but decent enough. Can shoot the ball. Tom's fine. He can hold it down for you. I think he's better than Amari. I mean, quite honestly, I think if you compare the two, maybe I'll be wrong, but Tom Chambers, in my opinion, can do just as much as Amari Stoudemire can do. I'll do this. Because I like Serge more than them, and I refuse to move Amari Stoudemire up, I'll move Tom Chambers down. I don't want to move Amari up. I don't want to. I'm going to move Amari up. I don't want to. I didn't want to. But because Amari is better than Tom Chambers, you guys do the comparison with me. He's better than Tom Chambers. I was going to put Tom Chambers in A tier, so I guess Amari gets the nod. Didn't want to. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. Zion Williamson is last, and it's going to take me a lot of courage to move this dude any higher than where I've got him. 78 3 ball, 86 speed, 80 lateral quickness. Look, stat and badge-wise, the dude honestly is not that bad. But the Zion base is just terrible. You're looking at a card that really can't shoot. I mean, is honestly what you're looking at because of his release. I guess I'll put him at B tier, but I'm not moving him any higher. He's a B tier player probably. I don't think I'd prefer him to anybody at A tier though. I'm going to move somebody down from B tier because there's too many people here. There's one guy I'm going to have to probably move down. It's probably going to have to be Bob Pettit. I didn't want to, but it probably has to be Bob Pettit if there's one person to move down. So I guess this is my final tier list. I did like my small forward tier list a little bit more than I like this one, but I think I got it pretty right. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I do think it's pretty solid. Maybe I'll be way off. Maybe you guys will fry me in the comments, but I think it's solid enough. Again, KG, AD, Chris Webber, and Paul Silas definitely separate themselves from everybody at A tier. That's why there's only 4 in S tier. Who is y'all's favorite player between AD, Chris Webber, and Paul Silas? Let me know that down below in the comments as well. Hope you guys did enjoy it. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you are new. And as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.